All right, so who out there is actually a fan of your agency's static range days out there when you have to go do qualifications?
No, God, please, no, no, no!
Or some kind of quarterly training. I think we all know what I'm talking about here. It's that when the target turns, present, fire 2 rounds, take 1 step to the left or 1 step to the right, because movement is life, right? Those are honestly the worst days of my life. I can't stand those training days, and I think that they honestly make really proficient and good shooters worse, because there's just not a lot of value in such static and just low-level training for officers that spend any amount of time out on the range. In many cases though, it's not your range staff's fault that you have to train like that. It's probably a policy, or they're handcuffed by command, or there's some kind of training methodology that senior leadership hasn't bought off on yet. And you're kind of stuck like that. So sometimes you may have to just go out on the weekend and train with your boys to have a little bit of a more proficiency building experience.
What you got, bitches? What you got?
But if you do have some of those more motivated red shirts or training staff out there on the range, we're gonna go over 4 drills today that are really gonna help push the limits of not only your maybe a little bit of physical fitness, but some of that proficiency in more realistic environments like shooting and moving. Because how many times do you see videos out there where officers are running, moving, having to engage, then maybe move again? There's just a lot of that. We don't always want to just plant our feet where we are in concrete and stand there so fire can be returned at us. So yes, moving can mean life, but you also need to maintain proficiency and accuracy while moving. The 4 drills that we are going to work on today are going to be the trace bill, and not trace as in trace something on a piece of paper, trace as in Spanish for 3. The Bear Chaos, which is a modified Bear Standards drill. We're going to do World War Z and Walk the Line, also known as the Johnny Cash drill. Now for all these drills, you're obviously going to want your pistol, ammunition, everything you need, ears, eyes, all that good stuff. One thing I would highly recommend is having a shot timer. I don't care which brand or version you have. The Shooter's Global one is absolutely amazing because of the functionality of it, between having an application on your phone, being able to record yourself, your splits, all that good stuff. But you can also just use an application that's on your phone that's gonna recognize shots and give you split times, because there are apps like that out there. That's honestly one of the best training tools out there. And then of course, you're gonna want some targets. You can use paper or steel. And if you are going to use steel targets, I would say use the smallest steel targets you have, like an 8-inch or a 10-inch, or at least a 2/3 zig plate, not a big D-zone steel. We're looking for a little bit more accuracy and proficiency here. And then when it comes to the Bear Chaos drill, that's really meant to be done on paper, but you can do it with 2 plates of steel. You just got to account for your accuracy that way. Now, don't worry about the overall time. This is really just a tracking method to see how much you can improve, because people that are maybe a little bit more athletic, my ex-high school and college sprinters out there, as long as they can shoot proficiently, are just going to have a natural advantage. So you just want to track this to see where you started, where you can gain accuracy, and where you can gain speed. Which is why you might want to start watching what competition guys are doing as far as shooting and moving and how they're doing things. Not that every one of the scenarios that they do moves into law enforcement style shooting, but there's definitely a lot of stuff there that can help. All right, the first drill we're going to start off with is that trace bill. So this is a modified bill drill where we have 3 stations, 25, 15, 10. We're going to draw on shot timer, and we're going to fire 6 rounds at each station. If we do some quick math on that, that's 18 rounds, which is about what a Glock 17 or a full-size pistol is gonna carry in there. So full mag of 17, 1 in the pipe. When we get to that last station, we'll run dry, do an empty gun reload or emergency reload, and fire 2 additional rounds on target just for good measure. So again, 25, 15, 10, 6 rounds each on the timer. We're gonna go ahead, load up, make ready, and get this drill going. Just make sure that you guys run this as proficient as possible, but also get a little bit of speed in there to make sure you're getting the benefit of the actual drill. Next up is the Bear Chaos drill. So the Bear Standards drill, normally it's just on a sheet of paper, but a 4x6 box, 4x6 box, 3-inch circle, or you can just draw something similar, right? We're going to fire 5 rounds in the box on the left or right, wherever you want to start. We're then going to run 5 yards to the opposite direction from where we started, fire 5 more rounds into the other box, and then we're going to run back to the dead center between the 2 cones that we've placed 5 yards apart, do an empty gun reload, and fire 3 into that center box. So the target is moving around. We got a lot of wind, but things move around, right? So we're just going to go with what we have. You need to have 10 rounds total in your gun to start, and then a full magazine for that speed reload out there to get those 3. So again, so we're clear, we have 2 cones set up on the ground. They are 5 yards apart from end to end. So start on one side, box, run to the other, box, run back to the center, empty gun reload, and then right there in the center for 3. Total of 13 rounds, and we're gonna see how this thing goes. All right, let's check that target out. So we can see a little bit of movement. I got, well, we can see right there, technically maybe kind of sort of a line breaker. The other ones are in good group, all in here, line breaker, good to go. Take up my magazines. All right, the next drill is gonna be the Johnny Cash, because all we're asking you to do is walk the line. We're gonna start at the 15. We're gonna rapidly walk to the 10 or towards it while giving 5 rounds to the target, hopefully all in the A zone. Just remember, when it comes to speed, the faster you move, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of accuracy. So there's a happy median right there that you need to figure out personally. But let's go ahead and make sure we're loaded, ready to go for the Johnny Cash. Okay, so we address our target right here. Here's the 2 on the left that were out. I put 1 more outside the A zone, and the rest of them went inside the A zone, and then these were from earlier. That's my 1, and then the other 5 are in there. So good hits on the A zone, pretty rapid pace. Speed up and slow down as necessary, and just work on those fundamentals to get your pace either a little bit faster or your accuracy a little bit better if you were going too fast. And time for World War Z, and I saved the best for last because this is the drill where it really does fall apart for a lot of people, because there's a little bit of memory involved and quite a bit of zigzagging movement. So if you think about a Z pattern, I've got 4 cones laid out here on the ground. They're about 5 yards apart each direction. So we're gonna run from the Z, right to left, over to the corner, back over to the top, back over, and all the way through that Z pattern back and forth. You're gonna put 2 rounds at each cone each time you hit it. So if we do quick math here, we got 2, 2, 2, 2, back 2, 2, 2. That's a lot of rounds right there, right? So we need to account for that ammunition usage. We're gonna do a tactical exchange at the end of that, and that'll be the completion of the drill. Oh, okay, well, that one will definitely put you a little out of breath. Some good running there, but that's it. So those are 4 drills that are not only gonna help accuracy, proficiency, you can see all the things that go into that: empty gun reloads, tactical exchanges, some accuracy testing, movement testing, and overall, if your agency's not doing that, you need to be doing it on your own, because these are the things that are gonna help you grow. They've helped me grow. These are things that I've learned from other people, whether they're professional shooters, tactical shooters, doesn't really matter. But that's what I got. So make sure you guys check out ironinfidel.com, the battle bottles, the new tumblers, they're everything you want. The blades from Dagger and Knot, and of course all the fitness gear at ironinfidel.com.